Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. In the line of doing videos for the current transits, especially the three important transits which are upon us coming next month. One is the Rahu and Ketu axis transit, where Rahu and Ketu are moving into the sign of Aries and Libra respectively, and then we will also be looking at the transit of Saturn, which will be moving from Capricorn into Aquarius and will also be retrograding back, and then the all important transit of Jupiter going into the sign of Pisces. And this is a harbinger of good news for us, three important transits happening at the same time. However, basis where these planets are placed in a respective horoscope, which dignity they are in, accordingly they will also throw up various kinds of permutations and combinations from tough results to excellent results for us. So these transits to be looked into deeply are important. Now I have already made a video on the transit of Rahu and Ketu, giving you a detailed perspective of not only according to your ascendant what kind of results it will throw up, but also basis what is the Rahu and Ketu axis in your respective horoscope. I have also given you that if Rahu and Ketu are placed in this axis in your horoscope, then what kind of results Rahu and Ketu can give you in the coming transit. Similarly, what I have also done is for Jupiter transit, I have already made a video yesterday of the generic results that Jupiter will give you basis its transit into Pisces for all the ascendants. But the important thing is that Jupiter will not give the same results for a similar ascendant. For example, Jupiter will not give the same results for all Aries ascendant natives just because it is getting into Pisces. It will also depend on what dignity, what placement Jupiter is in your natal horoscope. So however long videos, detailed videos you may have seen or you may want to look at basis nakshatra, basis Saturn aspect, if you are not capturing where Jupiter is placed in your respective horoscopes and then comparing the transit of Jupiter into Pisces for your ascendant, then you will be missing the point. You will not be able to read deeply into what kind of results Jupiter is going to throw at you. This is your placement in your respective horoscope, in your birth horoscope, and for your ascendant when it is moving into Pisces. So please watch that video as well, which is with the title Jupiter transit into the sign of Pisces for 2022 for all ascendants. So please do watch that and then watch this video also, or after you watch this, please watch that also, because together you will be able to fathom more clearer results, not only for your respective ascendant but for your specific placement in your birth horoscope as well. Now the way I'm going to do this video, I'm going to take houses by houses, which means that if in your horoscope Jupiter is placed in the first house but in different signs, then when it is moving into Pisces next month, what kind of results it will give you. So for example, if Jupiter is placed in the first house but in the sign of Aries, then when it is moving into Pisces, what kind of results it will give you. But if Jupiter is in the first house but if it's in the sign of Taurus in the first house, then what kind of results it will give you when it is transiting into Pisces. Then I will be talking about the second house, then the third house. So this way you will be able to get a very comprehensive analysis of house wise, sign wise placement of Jupiter in your birth horoscope, then relating it to the transit of Jupiter in Pisces in the coming month for your respective ascendant. And when you see them together, you will be able to have a very clear picture when you see today's video as well as yesterday's video, which is a generic one, Jupiter moving into Pisces for 2022 for all ascendants. So please do see both the videos and then be able to fathom for your respective ascendant and for your respective specific placement for your horoscope what kind of results Jupiter will be throwing up in the coming month in its transit into the sign of Pisces. But before you go ahead, friends, if you are somebody who has come to my channel for the first time, or if you are a regular to my channel but have not subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel. This video is an important video for a number of people who have been waiting for this Jupiter transit since many years, and they are looking forward to assessing what kind of results Jupiter will be throwing up for them in the coming transit. So when you subscribe to my channel and when you like this video, then YouTube will also promote this video further and it will be accessible to many more people. So please earn some good karma, do some good, because Jupiter will bless you in this coming transit when you do that. So please subscribe to my channel and please like this video and please share this video. And now to jump into Jupiter's results when placed in different houses for different signs, when moving into Pisces, what kind of results it will give us. Now keep in mind that Jupiter, when it rules a Kendra house in any of the houses, especially when it rules both the Kendra houses for any of the ascendant, for example for Gemini ascendant, for Virgo ascendant, for Sagittarius and Pisces, it rules 2 houses each. And so for these ascendants, generally Jupiter gives you excellent results, especially if it gets in good houses also. Then if the Mool Trikona sign of Sagittarius of Jupiter rules any of the trine houses, as it happens in the sign of Aries and for Leo, then to Jupiter gives very good results, excellent results. And Jupiter's Mool Trikona sign of Sagittarius, if it rules the second house or if it rules the other Upachaya houses, 3rd or 11th, then it generally gives mixed results. However, if the Mool Trikona sign of Jupiter, which is Sagittarius, rules any of the Dusthanas, especially the 6th and the 8th house, then it can be more troublesome and to slightly lesser extent troublesome for the Sagittarius sign as well. Now, if Jupiter is in the 1st house, then for any of these signs, which are the ascendant signs, which is Gemini, Virgo, Pisces or Sagittarius, it will give you excellent results when it moves into the Pisces sign. On the other hand, it may give good results to sometimes even excellent results, especially for the sign of Aries or Leo if these are the ascendants. The reason being is for these 2 signs, Jupiter's Mool Trikona sign Sagittarius rules one of the trine houses, either the 5th or the 9th. And similarly, it will give good results also for Cancer and Aquarius ascendant natives. For a Cancer sign, it will give good results because it rules one of the trine houses by virtue of Pisces sign ruling that, and Jupiter will be getting into the Pisces sign in a trine house in the coming transits. That's why it will be giving good results. For Aquarius, because Jupiter rules the 11th and the 2nd house, very auspicious houses connected to money, and Jupiter will be moving into the 2nd house, so some wishes and desires also coming true, and that's why Jupiter will be giving good results for these ascendant natives when it moves into the Pisces sign, when placed in the 1st house in your natal chart. And for Taurus, Libra, Scorpio and Capricorn, Jupiter's moving into the sign of Pisces can be a little troublesome, especially if for these ascendant natives Jupiter is placed in the 1st house, because in some of them Jupiter rules one of the Dusthana houses, either the 6th house, 8th house or the 12th houses. So Jupiter will give these results from good to excellent to troublesome to mixed results when it is placed in the 1st house. When Jupiter is placed in your 2nd house in your natal chart, so for these ascendant natives, for Gemini, Scorpio, Aquarius and Pisces, it will give you excellent results when it moves into the Pisces sign. Jupiter will give you good results if placed in the 2nd house for any of these ascendants, for Aries, Leo and Virgo when it moves now into the Pisces sign. And it will give you mixed results for Libra ascendant natives and Sagittarius ascendant natives if it is placed in the 2nd house for these natives, and it can be a little troublesome if it's placed in the 2nd house for ascendants of Taurus, Cancer or Capricorn. Why be troublesome? For example, for Cancer ascendant natives, Jupiter rules the 6th house, the Mool Trikona sign of Jupiter Sagittarius rules the 6th house and into the 2nd house of income and livelihood, so it can be a bit troublesome, but generally it may also give you good results because Jupiter is now moving into the trine house, the 9th house in the Pisces sign. So it could be a bit troublesome to Cancer ascendant natives, but some good results may also come in. If Jupiter is placed in the 3rd house in your natal chart, then it may give excellent results for the ascendant of Gemini. It will give you good results for the ascendant of Aries, Leo, Libra, Capricorn, Aquarius and Pisces now when it moves into the Pisces sign. It may give mixed results when it gets into the Pisces sign for Taurus ascendant natives or Sagittarius ascendant natives. This is if Jupiter is in the 3rd house in your natal chart. But it can give some bit troublesome results to people who are of the Cancer ascendant natives or Virgo or Scorpio if it's placed in the 3rd house in your natal chart. If Jupiter is placed in the 4th house in your natal chart, then Jupiter will give you excellent results for the signs of Aries, Virgo, Sagittarius and Pisces if these are the ascendants that you are in and Jupiter is placed in the 4th house. However, if you are of the ascendant Gemini, Scorpio, Capricorn or Aquarius, then it will give you two excellent results depending on which sign it is. However, if Jupiter is placed in the 4th house, if you are of the ascendant Taurus, Cancer or Leo, now Jupiter is getting into Pisces, so it will give you mixed results. For example, for Leo ascendant natives, if it's placed in the 4th house, it is placed in the sign of Scorpio and now getting into the 8th house in transit next month. However, for the ascendants of Libra, it can be a bit troublesome if Jupiter is placed in your 4th house, because Jupiter in the 4th house for Libra ascendant natives is in the Capricorn sign. It's in a debilitation sign and now getting into the 6th house in Pisces next month. That's why it could be a little troublesome, though because Jupiter is moving into its own sign of Pisces, the trouble may not be as big as it would have been if it was some other sign rather than its own sign. If Jupiter is placed in the 5th house in your natal chart, and if you are of any of these ascendants, Aries, Leo, Scorpio, Sagittarius or Pisces, then Jupiter will give you excellent results when it moves into the Pisces sign next month. However, if Jupiter is placed in the 5th house and you are of either the Gemini ascendant, Capricorn ascendant or Aquarius ascendant, then it will give you good results, in some cases even excellent results. However, if it's in the 5th house but for a Taurus ascendant native or a Libra ascendant native, then it may give you mixed results, especially basis whether it's in good yogas or bad yogas in your natal chart. However, if Jupiter is in the 5th house and you are either of the sign of Cancer or Virgo, then it can be a bit troublesome, because for example, for a Cancer ascendant native, Jupiter in the 5th house means it is in the sign of Scorpio and it rules the 6th house through the Mool Trikona sign of Sagittarius. So placed in Scorpio sign, while Jupiter Mool Trikona sign rules one Dusthana and now moving into the trine house, so it could be a bit troublesome, but overall it may give you good gains also because it is moving into a trine house. If Jupiter is in the 6th house in your natal chart, then it may give good results to some very good results to ascendants of Cancer, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn and Aquarius. But for Aquarius ascendant natives, it may give good to even excellent results. The reason being, Jupiter gets into the 6th house in a exaltation sign of Cancer if it's in your natal chart in the 6th house, and now moving into his own sign of Pisces in the 2nd house for an Aquarius ascendant native. So if it's in the 6th house in an exaltation sign in Cancer sign for an Aquarius ascendant native and then moving into the 2nd house in Pisces, it will give good results to excellent results for Aquarius ascendant natives if Jupiter is placed in your 6th house in your natal chart. But if Jupiter is placed in the 6th house in your natal chart and if you are of the ascendants of either Taurus, Gemini or Leo, it can be a bit troublesome, because for example, for a Gemini ascendant native, if Jupiter is in the 6th house, then it is in the sign of Scorpio. But because for Gemini ascendant natives, Jupiter rules two Kendra houses and it is moving into one of the Kendra houses, so overall, though a bit troublesome, it will give you still very good results. If Jupiter is in the 7th house in your natal chart and you have any of these ascendants, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius or Pisces, then Jupiter will give you excellent results. The reason being is for either of the 4 ascendants, Jupiter rules two Kendra houses and moving into a Kendra house. However, if Jupiter is placed 7th in your natal horoscope in your birth chart, but if your ascendant is either of Aries, Leo, Scorpio, Capricorn or Aquarius, then Jupiter will give you good to very good results. But if your Jupiter is in the 7th house and if you are of the ascendant Libra, then it may give you mixed results to even okay results to good results for some of you. But for the ascendants Taurus and Cancer, it can be a bit troublesome if it gets into the 7th house, if it's placed in the 7th house in your natal chart, because for Cancer ascendant natives, 7th house is the debilitation sign of Jupiter. So while it is getting into the Pisces sign in the 9th house, it is bringing some auspiciousness, but it will also trigger the 7th house where it is placed debilitated in your natal chart if Jupiter is placed in the 7th house and if you are in the Cancer natal Cancer ascendant, for example. If Jupiter is in the 8th house in your natal chart, in your birth chart, then for all Sagittarius ascendant natives, it will give good results to very good results. However, because Jupiter in the Dusthanas generally is not in the most comfortable of position, so it may give mixed results to the Taurus, Leo, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn and Pisces ascendant natives, but may be a bit troublesome to the others, especially for Aries, Gemini, Cancer, Libra and Aquarius. But it can be slightly more tougher for Gemini ascendant natives if it is placed in the 8th house in your natal chart, because in the 8th house Jupiter is in the Capricorn sign in debilitation, and while being placed in a debilitation sign in your natal chart, in your birth chart, it is now moving into your 10th house of your career. So it could be slightly more tough for you, but it may still on the whole give you good results as long as you're better prepared, keeping in mind debilitation sign that Jupiter is placed in your natal chart. If Jupiter is placed in the 9th house in your natal chart, then Jupiter will give you excellent results if you are of any of these ascendants, Aries, Gemini, Sagittarius or Pisces, when Jupiter will be moving into transit into the Pisces sign next month. However, it may give good results for all these ascendants, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn and Aquarius. Especially for Scorpio ascendant natives, it may give good results to even very good results. The reason being is, if it's in the 9th house for Scorpio ascendant native, then it is in the Cancer sign and it's in an exaltation sign in your natal chart. Now moving into the sign of Pisces, which is the trine house for Scorpio ascendant native. So look forward to very good results for a Scorpio ascendant native. However, if you are of the Libra sign, your ascendant is of Libra, then Jupiter's transit into the Pisces sign will give you mixed results. This is because Jupiter rules the 3rd sign of Sagittarius for a Libra ascendant native and also the 6th sign of Pisces, and in the 9th house it is placed in an inimical sign in the sign of Gemini. But because the 9th house also has the Sagittarius energy, so it will give you mixed results for a Libra ascendant native. However, if you are of the Taurus ascendant, then you can be a little troublesome if Jupiter is placed in the 9th house, because for a Taurus ascendant natives, when Jupiter is in the 9th house, it is in the debilitation sign of Capricorn. If Jupiter is in the 10th house in your natal chart and now moving in transit into the Pisces sign, then for all these ascendants it will give you excellent results. For example, for Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo and Pisces sign, it will give you excellent results. It will give you good results to very good results for Leo, Libra and Scorpio ascendant natives, but it may give you mixed results for Aries, Taurus, Cancer or Capricorn ascendant natives if Jupiter is placed in your 10th house in your natal chart. For example, for Aries ascendant native, Jupiter in the 10th house is in the Capricorn sign in its debilitation sign. However, it can be a bit troublesome for Aquarius ascendant natives, because if it's in the 10th house for Aquarius ascendant natives, it is in the sign of Scorpio in the 10th house of career and now moving into transit into the Pisces sign in your 2nd house, triggering ups and downs, upheavals in your career related to income. But because Jupiter is the Karaka of the 2nd house and moving into the sign of Pisces, which it itself rules, so it could be a bit troublesome, but it could not be disastrous. So be better prepared for some ups and downs, but also try and keep stability in your career, because that will be best for Aquarius ascendant natives. If Jupiter is in the 11th house in your natal chart, and if you have any of these ascendants, Aries, Virgo, Aquarius, then Jupiter will give you excellent results. However, Jupiter can give you good results if it's placed in the 11th house for Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Libra, Scorpio and Sagittarius ascendant natives. However, if it's in the 11th house for a Capricorn ascendant native or a Pisces ascendant native, then it could be a bit troublesome. Then it could give you mixed results to even okay results. Because for example, for a Capricorn ascendant native, when Jupiter moves into Pisces, it will be moving into your 3rd house of effort. So you may need to put in more hard effort, hard work to be able to get better results, to be able to get best results from Jupiter's transit into Pisces. But for Pisces ascendant natives, if Jupiter is in your 11th house, then it is in the sign of Capricorn, which is a debilitation sign for Jupiter, and now it is moving into the Lagna itself. So while it is powerful in the Lagna, it's in its own sign, but because in your natal chart it is in the 11th house of your wishes and desires coming true, but in a debilitation sign, so there may be some struggle to be able to get the best out of this transit, to be able to get all your wishes and desires coming true. So be better prepared if you are a Pisces ascendant native, especially if Jupiter is placed in the 10th house in your natal chart. If Jupiter is placed in your 12th house in your natal chart, then in the coming transit of Jupiter moving into Pisces, it will give you excellent results if you are of any of these ascendants, especially if you are of Aries. However, it will give you good results if you are of Gemini, Leo, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn or Pisces ascendants. However, for Virgo ascendant natives, it may give you good to even excellent results. This is because for a Virgo ascendant natives, Jupiter in the 12th house means Jupiter is in the sign of Leo, which is the friendly sign for Jupiter, and Jupiter in the 12th house always is a stronger placement because it has natural Pisces energies. And Jupiter rules two Kendra houses, which is the 4th and the 7th house, and Jupiter is moving into the 7th house for a Virgo ascendant native. So it will give you good results to even excellent results. However, if you are of the Taurus ascendant or the Sagittarius ascendant, then Jupiter will give you mixed results if it is in the 12th house. The reason being is, for example, for a Sagittarius ascendant native, if Jupiter is in your 12th house, then it is in the sign of Scorpio. So the upheavals, the ups and downs may also come when Jupiter moves into your 4th house in Pisces, which means you'll have to be better prepared and fathom some of the ups and downs. But overall, still good results coming for Sagittarius ascendant natives if Jupiter is placed in the 12th house in your natal chart. But if Jupiter is in the 12th house and if you are any of these signs, Cancer, Libra, Aquarius, then it can be a little bit troublesome for you, and you will have to traverse this transit better, because in the 12th house for a Cancer ascendant native, where Jupiter's Mool Trikona sign is ruling the 6th house and placed in the 12th house in Gemini, which is a inimical sign to it, so Jupiter can give you some troubles of the 6th house, though Jupiter moving into the trine of Pisces can reduce some of the challenges also and give you good results. However, for Aquarius ascendant natives, it can be troublesome to even tough results and some tough ups and downs in your transit of Jupiter in the Pisces next month. This is because while Jupiter is transiting into a 2nd house, in your natal chart it is placed in the 12th house, but in the sign of Capricorn, where it is debilitated. So placed in a debilitation sign in the 12th house in your natal chart, and now moving in your 2nd house in the sign of Pisces, which is also the house of your savings, your earning and your remuneration. So be better prepared to be able to fathom some of the ups and downs, but overall still Jupiter being a very good benefit may give you some initial troubles, but overall smooth results later part of the year. So now friends, that we have seen how Jupiter in the different houses in your natal chart when placed in different signs can give you okay results to a bit troublesome results to maybe tougher results to good results to very good results or excellent results based on where it is placed in your natal chart, in which sign or house, and now moving into Pisces in its own sign. So the only variation beyond what I have given to you can be in what dignity beyond the placement that Jupiter placed in. For example, if Jupiter is placed in a bad dosha, in a bad conjunction, Jupiter is combusted, Jupiter is eclipsed by Rahu or Ketu, or if Jupiter is retrograde, that flavor may also come in when Jupiter moves into transit into Pisces sign next month. So friends, look at what dignity Jupiter is placed in your natal horoscope, and keeping that in mind, which sign it is in, which house it is placed in your natal chart, now moving into the sign of Pisces, and looking at its dignity, then fathom what kind of results it will bring you, from either a bit troublesome to okay results to good results to even excellent results for some of you. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Till some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off.